When we showed up January of 1996, we had that first team meeting, which was always, Coach Snyder's tradition. We met as a team right when we reported. You could feel a tension in the air. Everybody was, stone-faced. Coach Snyder walked in, he was fired up. We knew at that point that something was going to happen.
Before the 96 season, the Sun Devils were not ranked. Like, no one saw us coming. No one in the media, there was no national poll that was like, look out for these guys.
The previous 3 years, we were 6-5, we were 3-8, we were 6-5, but we were 6-5 with a lot of really close games. So we knew that we had a good team.
During the off season, we had a players only meeting, and Jake came in that meeting with a hat that said NBR and a rose in his mouth.
And he said, guys, I believe this year could be special. And if we work hard in the off season, and if we do everything that, in our power to prepare to play great football, we could play great football.
So he was like, look, we've worked too hard and come too far not to go to the Rose Bowl this year. So we all made a commitment to stay in the off season, train, work, become a family, become a brotherhood. And that NBR stood for nothing but roses.
He said Rose Bowl. And then everybody in the room said, yes.
Arizona State's perfect season means their title hopes are still alive. It's been a decade since their last reign. The Phoenix again is ready to soar, eager to bring the glory back to the Valley of the Sun. This game is all it stands between the Sun Devils and a season.
Bruce Snyder would say one at a time, every single day.
One play at a time, play hard for that one play. Don't worry about how much time's left in practice or how many more reps we're gonna do.
Turn the page, if something bad happens that play, just take one play at a time, take one test at a time, take one day at a time.
And I'll tell you the truth, that one at a time thing, I hated it. I was like, my gosh, another shirt with one at a time on it, had on our hat. I'm like, oh my gosh. But my senior year is when I finally said, wait a minute, if you do it, it works.
We were just ready. It was just like a heavyweight championship fight, and we were all focused.
It was hard work at Camp T. You were excited to be done with that place. 10 straight days of two-a-days every year back then. But yeah, we knew we had good guys. It was very competitive. Guys were fighting for jobs.
For us as players, it was a great time to bond, obviously, because we spent every second and every minute with each other.
When we finished camp and we broke camp and we came down the mountain, we knew we were ready. We just were not going to be denied that year. We just knew that no matter what it was going to take, we were going to find a way to win games. We were not going to let them slip away in the fourth quarter.
College football is a little bit different than the pros. It's pressure all year. If you lose one game, it'll change everything. So once I looked at the schedule and I said, we can beat all these teams, hey, I got to sign my name on that. We got to beat all these teams.
And the very first test right out of the gate was Washington.
Ladies and gentlemen, entering the House of Heat, Coach Bruce Snyder and the Sun Devils of Arizona State.
The Washington game really is a shootout. For the vast majority of Arizona State history, Arizona State probably loses that game.
They tied it up in the fourth quarter. We were up 42-21. They came back, tied the game. We had, I believe, less than 2 minutes left. And we had to find a way to win that game. We made the plays when we had to. Reminisce kicks the last-second field goal. We won 45-42. That win set up the rest of the season.
If we would have lost that game, we probably would have lost a couple of games that year. But we pulled it off, and I think that just catapulted us to the next game.
The Nebraska game made undefeated possible.
I remember the night before the game, we had a players-only meeting, and I remember Jake and Pat and Derek Smith, they gave this heartfelt speech, and we tore the room up.
We had such a good bond that going into each game, we had this confidence about us.
We shocked the world, but we weren't shocked. We knew we matched up well with them. They were tailor-made for what we were doing on offense. They were tailor-made for what we were doing on defense.
As the game went on, and the anticipation, and I just remember sitting in that student section thinking, are we gonna do this? We're shutting out the #1 team in the country.
So when you see greatness, something moves inside of you. And at that game, we won 19-0. The crowd comes on the field. Because what do you want when you witness greatness? What do you want? You want to be a part of it.
You don't realize how big the moment is when you're in the moment. Seeing everybody's response after is like, I've seen this on TV, people coming down to the football field.
I do remember the crowd coming on the field. I actually got hurt during that game, so I was on crutches, and they were like, get out of the way.
I love how every time that the broadcasters came back on, they were like, the score is correct. It is 19-0 ASU. That was pretty awesome.
This is battle from the 1-yard line to the 10. Coming to the right side with speed. 25, 30, 35, 40. Look out! No flags, and Battle will take it all the way.
We went and played UCLA. We were highly ranked, but then all of a sudden we're down by 21 points.
It was the first time that year that I actually thought, man, we could lose.
Right there, our backs are against the wall. We knew we were better than them, but they were playing better than us. Pulled it together, and we pulled off a 42-34 win.
The pressure was mounting a little bit to go undefeated and keep that record, but at this time we were so confident and we were just rolling. But we've seen other teams blow it too, that should have won, should have gone undefeated. So we were trying to keep ourselves as focused as possible.
It was joyous, of course. We were celebrating, we were happy. But I think in the back of our minds, we knew the celebration was going to be short-lived. We knew that we couldn't get a little bit comfortable. We had payback. We had a team down south that we owed an ass whipping to.
You're the best, and nobody could beat us.
The experience of the Rose Bowl for a Mexican-American kid growing up in Southern California, where, I get emotional, where you watch this game every year and you think to yourself, what would it be like? What would that feel like to be one of those guys in those football pads? There's no way to describe it other than you are just overwhelmed with emotion, you're overwhelmed with joy, you're proud.
It was definitely something that we were ready for, that we band together for. And, come kickoff, I knew that we were gonna put up a fight. I definitely remember walking onto the field and just looking into the stands and being like, wow, that's what 100,000 people looks like. Like, it actually made me tear up,
We're Arizona State, #2 in the nation. Like, we belong here. We went into that game with the same confidence.
Oh, what a grab by Ricky Boyer!
But this was the story. This was the story of all of them. We're gonna win the Granddaddy of Them All. We're gonna go undefeated. Any Pac-10 team that does that, that's a national championship. And it was seconds away. And what happened next was just painful.
On the quick count, middle, got the first down. Jackson's got to get down. They got to stop it. Time has run out. Ohio State beats Arizona State
The Sun Devils' dream comes to an end in Pasadena, but not before they put on a heck of a fight. Bruce Snyder's Sun Devils give it up in the last 30 seconds.
The Rose Bowl. I don't like talking about it, don't like thinking about it. One of the worst days of my life, still.
It was, man, it was like, what could we have done? You know, we did everything we were asked to do. Everybody left everything on the table, but at the end of the day, I was out there with my teammates, my family, the blood, sweat, and tears.
When you look up and down this roster, it's not just great football players. These are great people. They're great young men who are now grown men. But you think of a guy like Pat Tillman, who was just so endearing and so engaging.
I don't talk about Pat too much because of this. One of the best men I've ever been around in my life. Taught me how to have no fear.
This 96-97 team really meant a lot to me because I think from that point forward, it was, all right, ASU football all the way, die hard, 100%.
I hope that each one of them knows that the final score of the last game is not reflective of their success or how we feel about them as fans.
I was a part of a huge family with a Sun Devil marching band, but as part of an even bigger family of being a Sun Devil.
It's just a beautiful thing to have that connection with the guys, with the fans. And it reminds you that anything's possible. And the brotherhood is just about connecting with people and remembering not only what happened, but what's possible for the future.